Welcome to Good Morning SKN, Dr. Jayson. Esdaille, it is indeed a pleasure having you on this morning. So, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. This is a wonderful opportunity. I'm really excited to, talk to you about medicine and, everything else that comes up in this conversation.
Nice, nice, nice.
Interesting. So, Jayson, can I refer to you as Jayson or Dr. Esdaille?
Yeah, you can call me Jayson. It's okay.
Okay. Well, don't mind if we call you Dr. Esdaille because we are fascinated by the doctors. All right. So, Jayson, can you just share with us, tell us a little bit about your alma mater, your days here in St. Kitts before you migrated?
Yeah, so, I grew up in St. Kitts till I was 18. I went to St. Teresa's Convent for primary school. Then I went to Washington Archibald High for high school. Did 2 years at CFB, and then came to the US for to pursue this journey to become a doctor.
Yeah. So you were always inspired to become a doctor?
If I said yes, that would be a lie. But I kind of went through high school like toying with different things. I was interested in like computers. I was like, maybe I'll do like information technology. I always could draw and stuff. So I was like, oh, maybe I could be an architect, and then later in high school, I picked up like biology and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting. So that kind of sparked the interest. And I was always looking for a career that could have like a feeling of like self-fulfillment in contributing to the greater good. And, I think the idea of being a doctor, you're doing like a great service for humanity, you're helping take care of sick people. Combine that with, my interest in the sciences, it was kind of like a good mix for me.
Awesome. And can you share with us your upbringing? How did your upbringing here in St. Kitts help you to make the decision in becoming or pursuing becoming a doctor?
Yeah, so kind of like what I just referenced, about having like a sense of self-fulfillment, and contributing to the greater good. I grew up in a church. I was in church every Sunday morning, the Catholic church down by the square. And I think, that kind of really set the premise of, do unto others as you have them do unto you, and really just finding joy in helping others. So I think that was a, big path of me like pursuing medicine, just getting like a, sense of satisfaction and a good feeling about doing something good for others.
You talk about paying it forward. Do you intend one day to come back to St. Kitts and pay it forward here?
Yeah, I would love to. I think if the opportunity arises, I have, a chance to serve St. Kitts, as a good patient population. I would definitely come back. Hopefully I can, bring some new things that I learned up here and integrate them into, the economy and the healthcare system in St. Kitts as well.
I get the persons who are in charge of nothing, so you can see that we have a good doctor this week.
Indeed. So, Jayson, you received
shameless plug.
Yes.
Indeed. So, Jayson, you received a bachelor's in biological science at Florida International University. You've also been to Howard University College of Medicine, and currently you are doing an internship in general surgery at the University of Virginia. How is that going?
I mean, it's hard. This is one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. They keep saying, each step, is harder than the next. And this being an intern is definitely hard. But, I think I'm getting better each day. I feel like if all these other people could do it, and why can't I do it?
Of course.
It's just a path of the journey. And, I think it's getting better.
Of course. And as we say down here in St. Kitts Nevis, we're little but we Talawa. So I'm sure you're pushing through.
Yeah, man. I have no choice, honestly. So,
of course.
So you mentioned the challenges. What is your biggest challenge thus far?
I think time management, honestly, that's like the thing that really is like killing me because like my day starts at 4 a.m. And I have to be at the hospital for 5, and then I leave somewhere between like 6 and 7. So that gives me like between like 7 and 11 to do chores, meal prep, go to the gym, play basketball, take care of my dog. It's just study, do research. Like it's just really hard sometimes to fit all of that stuff in that little 4 hour window. So yeah, time management is really, really challenging, but I think I'm getting better at that.
Oh, okay.
Certainly, certainly. And can you share with us what was your reaction when you were received? What was your reaction rather when you been accepted into the Ivy League program? What was your reaction like?
I couldn't believe it, honestly. It was so surreal. Like I dropped my phone like on my hand when I get the email. I just couldn't believe it that Ivy League program would be interested in me. This guy coming from St. Kitts, from real humble upbringings. So it was surreal. Starting to feel more real now that I'm doing like all this paperwork and filling out contracts and stuff like that. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful at the end of the day.
Of course, proud of you, man. Congratulations.
What is something
Thank you.
You're welcome. What is something you did not expect in medical school or about medical school?
I didn't expect. Well, we talked about time management, but I didn't expect. How do I phrase this? Let me say this correctly. Like I didn't really pay attention to how important it is to have like a good like self-care regimen and really taking care of yourself, because this current system could just drag you down. You just like been running on 2 hours of sleep, and then you just start looking like run down. So it's really good to have like your self-care routine, optimized, I guess. Me personally, like I get a haircut every like 10 days. That's something that I like, because I like having a good haircut. I get like facials and massages just to feel good. And then going to the gym too is kind of like another outlet. So just having your different outlets and self-care routine is something I really did know going into like medicine, and how important that would be.
Of course. And Jayson, becoming a doctor is a pretty long journey, but can you share with us some of the must-have or lifesavers that you must have for a medical student?
Yeah, definitely. So I think having a good mentor is really important. Like I feel like, I'm here today because I've had like good mentorship. I've had people that I could talk to who've been through, all the stuff that I'm going through, someone I could vent to, and someone who could just really like, provide you them gems that you wouldn't really be able to find without like talking to someone. So having mentors and like talking to people, networking, I think that's like extremely important. We talked about the self-care routine. I think that's also very important. Something that people don't tell you, because you got to feel good to like perform,
Yeah.
Right.
And, also, I guess from an academic standpoint, just knowing how to study. I feel like a lot of people like don't know how to study, and they went through undergrad, just doing one thing, and that doesn't work in medicine and then like higher education. So just really fine tuning the things that work for you, and knowing like, all right, this works for me, I'm gonna stick to it. This doesn't work for me, so I'm gonna step far away from that.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
So, if I may, Jayson, there are so many doctors out there. You have pediatrician, you have, a wide range of doctors. Some even deal with the teeth, with surgery with the teeth. But you are studying to become a surgeon, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what is it that intrigues you on being a surgeon?
So I think one of the things that stood out to me in med school was like kind of how different the days are. Like some days you're in the operating room, some days you're in clinic. I think kind of like that versatility and having like, different schedules was something that stuck out to me. I don't think I would enjoy being in like one setting like 5 days out of the week. I wanted some like, versatility. I also like the fact that you get to use your hands to like make tangible changes. You're just not pushing medicine and just saying, well, I hope this works. No shade to any other doctors, but that's something that
Understood.
I like be able to practice it. I can have a problem, I can go in and use my hands to fix it.
Right.
Good stuff.
Awesome.
I must ask, did surgery choose you, or did it choose you, or did you choose it?
I guess it chose me.
Oh,
You know, well, I mean, I guess it was kind of 50-50.
okay.
You know, I did look into other stuff I did look into other like, you know, specialties, and I just felt like they weren't for me at the end of the day.
Okay.
Also, Jayson, you aspire rather to be a professor of surgery at an academic institution. Can you share with us where you would have want to become a professor, or any place out there
So,
you?
that's a great question. Ideally somewhere, you know, on the warmer side. You know, New Haven is gonna be really cold, so I'm just gonna have to suck it up and just deal with it.
Right.
But somewhere on the warmer side, you know, some place that has, you know, like a good a good percentage of like, you know, minorities and African American, you know, Afro Caribbean population, so I can really connect with like those patients, and also somewhere that has like an associated medical school, because, you know, I want to continue like mentoring and, you know,
Right.
really kind of creating like a pipeline for, you know, other people that look like me, you know, to kind of come along and,
Nice.
you know, join this field of medicine.
I like that.
In your graduating class, Jayson, since you mentioned persons that look like you, how many persons were there that look like you? And congratulations on graduating again.
Thank you. So, I mean, I guess I'm kind of I went to Howard, so, you know, Howard is HBCU, so I'm kind of, my class was kind of like an anomaly. I feel like we were like 80% black.
Wow,
but
nice.
if you look at medical schools like around, yeah, it's kind of like, it's special we have at Howard. But if you look at like other schools like around the country, like they may have like 10 black people graduating up to like 200. You know, the numbers not like Howard numbers do not reflect like most medical schools in, you know, in the US. So, you know, Howard, like I said, Howard is an anomaly.
Can I ask, is that the reason why you chose Howard?
That was one of the reasons that, you know, I chose Howard, but, you know, that was the only medical school I got into, if I'm being quite frank. So it was, you know, I had no choice but to go there, but I was happy I got in because that's someplace I really wanted to go.
Nice. So it chose you. I'm happy that you got to go where you wanted to go.
Of course. So Jayson, I'm going to get a little technical with you now. So here's where it gets interesting. Your interest in trauma acute care surgery, invasive surgery, and surgical oncology. Can you explain to us your form of surgery for the layman out there so we can understand?
Yeah, so one of the things I liked about general surgeries is that, you know, has all these different like, you know, subspecialties. So like trauma acute care surgery, that's like your emergency surgery. That's someone who got into like a bad car accident and has like a penetrating like wound to like the abdomen, and they need surgery like urgently. Surgical oncology, that's like removing like cancers from, you know, different like solid organs and different parts of the body. And minimally invasive surgery, that's a really broad term as well. That could be divided into several different subsections, but it's a form of surgery that uses like laparoscopic equipment where you do surgery through these really tiny holes and you use instruments. That's why it's called like minimally invasive. But you know, that by itself is a lot of different things. You know, a lot of like GI tract surgery, like stomach surgery, like surgery on like your esophagus or your throat. A lot of different things are done minimally invasive. So, you know, it's a lot to dive in right there, but that's generally the concept of it.
Of course. Well, I'm sure you just shared a lot, and I in particular have learned the difference. So thanks for clearing up that.
Absolutely. That's what I'm here for.
Nice.
Indeed.
Let's talk about your residency. You are a general surgeon at the Yale University New Haven Hospital program. How has that been going? What are some of the highs and some of the lows you have encountered thus far?
Yeah, well, I'm actually starting that program in like 3 weeks, I guess.
Oh, you're not started yet?
I'm finishing up at UVA.
Okay.
No, I'm finishing up here at the university. Yeah, I'm at the University of Virginia now. I'm finishing
Okay.
up here, and then I'm going to Yale.
Okay, so
Wow.
how's the
Yeah.
preparation going so far for that?
Moving always sucks. Going across, going from like state to state. So I need to start really preparing. Like I haven't started packing yet
So
or
you have to
anything.
pack
I'm
up
just
apartment too?
trying to.
Hmm.
Yeah, I got to do everything.
Wow.
I'm picking up, I'm taking everything and moving.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Wow.
But I've been personally trying to like brush up on like topics that I've struggled with all year. So I've been doing like a little studying here and there just to, make sure that I'm when I come, like I'm there on like, I come correctly when I go there and I'm not really like messing up on things that I should know. Because they're
Okay.
gonna
Good
expect
stuff.
me to know things since I've
Uh-huh.
already done the internship.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice, nice. Let's speak about I had the train of thought, but the train of thought just left me. Okay. For the average person that wants to get into medical school, the train of thought is back, Jayson. I realized you went from the Florida State University, you went to Howard University, then you did one internship, and now you're going to a next internship. What is the process
Yeah.
when you sign up for medical school? I know it's several years, but what is the
Yeah.
process?
So I mean, I kind of have a unique situation. So when you are accepted to medical school, you do 4 years, and then at the end of your third year, at the start of your fourth year, somewhere in between there, you apply for residencies, and that's when you're trained for X number of years, depending on your specialty. Last year, I graduated last year, but I only got a 1 year spot here at the University of Virginia. Due to a number of circumstances.
Okay.
But anyway, I finished this year, so I had to reapply, and I got a spot at Yale.
Okay.
So that's just kind of how it works. It's a whole algorithm how they use to pick spots, and I don't know. I quite frankly don't understand it.
Okay.
You basically interview at certain places, you make your list, the place make their list, and then some computer like matches you up.
Wow.
So it's insane. It's just insane they use this to predict where people go in for training, but it is what it is.
Okay.
Interesting.
We have to talk about that dog, okay?
Sure,
Okay.
of course. Jayson, as we try to wrap up, what advice do you have for any young persons out there who wants to venture the same field that you're in, becoming a doctor? Because most persons who want to become a doctor, I mean, it's not the education is not complete here in St. Kitts. You have to migrate to complete it. What advice do you have for that person who is probably financially unstable, but they have the passion and they want to become a doctor? What encouragement would you have for that person who is watching and listening right now?
Yeah, so I think that, first of all, get a mentor. Like as I mentioned before, I think that's crucial. Kind of identifying, having a mentor can, help you like kind of navigate those pathways, like with regards to applying for loans and stuff like that, and really seeing what type of places you can go for school. Then you need to identify if you want to like practice like in the Caribbean or like in the States. You could go to UWI. UWI has like a great medical school. And that's an option for a lot of people, just due to stuff like citizenships and visas and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think getting a mentor, someone who can really guide you, is really crucial for really navigating those paths.
Okay.
Interesting.
And before we wrap up, I have to talk about this dog. So you have to show St. Kitts and Nevis your mini golden doodle, because we spoke about all the other activities you do, your basketball, you're working out, you're cooking. We know that you're going to a new city, but can you tell us what new country you are going to whilst we see that lovely golden doodle?
I'm intrigued to see.
Can I
Come
have
here,
him?
Avon. Come here. His name is Avon. This is him right
Avon.
here.
Hi, Avon. I like his
Hi,
collar.
Avon.
Hi, Avon.
Yeah, you see his chain.
Fancy dog. Fancy dog.
Indeed, he's golden.
He is golden all through. Lovely dog. Bye, Avon.
Yeah, he loves He loves the attention.
Oh,
Trust
good
me.
stuff.
And I'm sure you are making your parents proud, and
Yes.
so does the golden doodle.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jayson, Esdaille, this is where we have to wrap it up. It was so much fun to
Yes, it was
hear
a
more
pleasure.
about you and for you to break it down, tell us your journey and where it all started and where you are now. So we want to
Yes.
thank you for speaking with us on Good Morning SKN, and we look forward to see and hear much more good things from you in the
Yes.
near future.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. This is my first time ever doing like an interview or something like this. So, I'm glad I could do it with like a company from back home.
Yes.
So thanks for making this a special day for me too.
Oh,
course.
you're welcome, and we
It was a
appreciate
pleasure.
you.